Well, hello and welcome to the Healing Waters Chit Chat version broadcast. I am your host, Marie Kennedy Groves, and I have the distinct privilege to have with me on today's broadcast Dr. Tammy Sorensen. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Besher.
That's perfect.
Welcome, Dr. Tammy. Oh my gosh, I am so excited that you have taken time out of your busy life to join us and talk about just some amazing topics that are life-changing. So I want to tell our listening audience a little bit about you, and then I have a bazillion questions for you. So we will get started. All right. So here's a little bit about Dr. Tammy. She has built her practice in holistic healing arts for over the last 25 years around embodiment of self. She guides her patients down their own path of healing using her personal experiences, education, hands-on modalities, and her her mind, heart, and body approach. Dr. Tammy has been blessed with being able to create a new life where her numerous autoimmune conditions, chronic freeze state from sympathetic dominance, infertility, stress, pain, sleep disturbances, and fatigue did not stop her in believing in a future self that is healthy, whole, and free from her past. She has created health to healthy and happy children, peace of mind, and a successful elimination of stress and pain. She is a doctor of acupuncture, energy medicine. She's board certified Institute of Functional Medicine certified practitioner, board certified licensed acupuncturist, licensed massage therapist, energy worker, meditation specialist, certified yoga instructor, certified nutritional consultant, and clinical nutritionist. Her passion is for patients to attain an energetic, balanced state of health and well-being. And Dr. Tammy, I could go on and on and on. But you, my friend, are a well-versed person in many, many areas that are near and dear to me. And I know that you and I have literally just met, but I am so excited to get to know you better because, oh my gosh, reading down through what you do. All right, so I know that all the things that you do. Do you have a favorite area that you work in that just really rings your bells?
Oh, well, first of all, Marie, thank you so much for having me on. I am truly grateful and appreciative. That's first and foremost. And thank you for your grace, being at home and having my child home today from being sick and the dog barking in the background. And we know that in life, we just have to flow with it. So
that's
I appreciate your grace. And I want to share that, yes, my niche and my specialty is definitely around, helping tired, busy moms overcome their autoimmune pain and fatigue to help them, come back to living this life of, adventure and having it fun-filled and just having the energy to be able to, be in that space. So that really, to me, functional medicine is, my favorite as far as what that is, but it's really creating that dynamic for creating programs for people where we want to create a transformation. So I'm actually, the cool thing is I have a lot of these, tools in my toolbox, as you have shared, and I'm very grateful for your kind introduction. But a lot of it really is, there's a place and a time for each one of these things. And with regard to functional medicine, I don't think a lot of people really know what that is, but we're really looking at a deeper level. And we have this component of 5 pillars. So we're looking at, the healthy relationship with yourself and how you then project that with others. And then it's exercise and movement, your stress modulation, your sleep hygiene, and then your nutrition. So we're really looking at that from a foundational component And then to me, I think where if, somebody's coming in with autoimmunity, the number one thing they're going to look at is like, usually like I'm in pain and I have a lot of fatigue. So we have to really get that under control. And whether that requires supplementation or that requires acupuncture, whatever that modality is, we want to make sure that they can feel that feeling uploaded off of them. And
Mhm.
then we can start to take that deeper dive into more of the mindfulness and, which again, and we shared a little bit about this in the pregame, is that where we can talk about meditation and how that works with specifically our programs, our subconscious programming. And interestingly enough, by the time you're 35, you are actually subconsciously programmed by the way you think, act, feel, believe, behave. So we have 5% consciousness that we're actually able to deal with versus how we show up with a mindful mindset is how we handle those stressors every day. Just like I shared with you, like,
Mhm.
we talked this morning, just like the,
Right.
the update on the phone, or, my child having, okay, we're not going to go to school today and I have a full book. So, how am I going to, shorten that refractory period and just go, that's just going to be how today is, adding in breath work, adding in some mindfulness. And you just got to do whatever you can. And you just face your day with, the universe has my back. And we just, are able to work forward from that.
So, oh my gosh. All right. So I know you and I have both had quite the morning that we discussed when
Right.
we first jumped on here and met each other. So, you had your set of challenges to be able to get on this interview and talk. I had my set of challenges, and yet we're here. And what I think is so important is we're not all over the place. We're here.
Right.
We're here in this moment. And this moment is so sacred because it's you and I connecting. I'm making a new friend. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And you have such a wealth of knowledge. Um, can we talk a little bit because I I'm a self-proclaimed mindset warrior. Um, and I think
Speaking
that
my language.
I'm telling you, I think just for what you shared, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a fellow mindset warrior with me. And I say that to people, and so many times people look at me like I have literally 5 heads. And they're like, okay, Marie, I hear you, but how I can't control my mind. My mind goes where it wants to go. And I can't go. And I said, well, you have a choice whether to follow it or not. So I'm just curious because you so speak my language. For those people out there that say, I would love to be able to control my thoughts. I would love to be able to control my anxiety. I would love to do all these things. But where do I start because I am a hot mess? What would you
Right.
say?
Well, I mean, for me, I would like to speak for what I do. I mean, I get up early, I meditate, I do whatever that exercise, whether that's dancing, foam rolling, light weights, whatever it is that works with my body. So I kind of overcome myself. So that's part of the process for me. My meditations always start with a heart-based approach. So I am looking within, I do the inner mission, which is what I call it. And I call it, it's my meditation that I've created, which is called the Q meditation. So it's a quiet, uh, you know, um, this unexplained exploration, right? I mean, like that's the idea. We want to just thoughts are going to come in. We're going to be in that space, but if we can stay quiet and we can, we don't have to have an explanation. So it is unexplained. And then we have this exploration, we can kind of allow thoughts to come in. So my thing is, I set up my day every day by overcoming myself. So if that mind is racing and things are moving, it's like, let's just settle that in. And some days are better than others, right? I mean, like, okay, kid's got to go to school. Okay, kid is sick. Okay, things are happening. I mean, I get up, in the 4-ish area. And I just get and take care of me overcoming. Now, not everybody's going to do that. Now, I had a lot of health anomalies that I needed to overcome. So it's a little bit different for me because that, like, I needed to change. So that took a little bit more of a dynamic and more time and effort. But I would just say for the, for the pedestrian, right, or the layman that doesn't have any autoimmune or cancer or, these big health concerns, and they're just looking for, how do I create this life on an everyday basis? It's really looking at your environment, your body and time, and saying, where am I going to bring the energy in and allow that filter to come out? So to me, so let's give an example, right? So a patient needed to cancel. I had to cancel a patient this morning. My child was ill. So what I do is I go, okay, then this is going to be the day, but I'm going to allow myself to have that energy come in, and I'm going to just kind of sit with it. I'm going to breathe with it. And again, this doesn't take much effort except an awareness of self. So I put my hands over my heart for a second. I breathe in and go, okay, my day is definitely going to have a different trajectory than what I thought. So I have to come into acceptance of that. The information comes in, and then I say, okay, this is how we're going to handle, because I can't leave my kid home alone because she's too little. So you're going to come in the car with me. We're going to switch the appointment. Okay, I'm going to still have time for Marie today. And then I'm going to have my appointments after that. So you just learn to kind of create this grace, and you have to be kind to yourself. So that information comes in, and then I allow the mind to not go, because I think the top three for so many of us are control, worry, and fear. I mean, we can have judgment in there, and we can add, anxiety and worry, but I think those are the top three. So knowing that you can take the information in, and you can get anxious, you can get a little a little freaked out. Then what do we do with that information? We go, okay, we just have to change the trajectory. So, okay, let me check in with my body. Let's calm it down. Let's get it out of that stress, fight, flight, freeze. Do some breaths. Then we can go, okay, here's the new environment. How am I going to handle it? And then now, okay, now just like we talked about this morning, the time actually ended up working out because the energy within us changed us. So that way the energy outside of us can then change that dynamic. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh my gosh, that was such a great explanation. You just explained that better than I ever have. And that is so very true. Okay, we're going to take a really short break, a short commercial break, and we will be right back because, oh my gosh, I have so much more to talk to you about, and I just cannot wait. So we will be right back.
We all want the best for our children so that they can excel in life. But as the world around us becomes increasingly complex, the stress levels of our children are rising. Their attention spans are decreasing and their minds are becoming restless. How can we help them deal with this complex world around them and realize their true potential? The answer lies hidden inside the minds of every child. The Brighter Minds program unlocks the hidden potential of your child and makes them ready for their future. It uses the principle of enhancing the capacity of the brain and its reception to learning, using neuroplasticity, epigenetics, and entrainment, bringing about a fine balance between the logical, analytical, creative, and intuitive processes of your child. Brighter Minds makes your child ready for the future. Give your child the right gift of Brighter Minds. The gift of a lifetime.
And we are back with Dr. Tammy. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, you need to send this episode to all of your friends, to all the people you love, and to even your haters. Because this is a power-packed one. So Dr. Tammy, just kind of give us in a nutshell what we just broke down in the first segment.
Oh, perfect. So I just want to share that with you with regard to, the idea of, when the environment changes, because, right, I mean, this is that idea for me. The formula is the environment, body, and time. So when the environment changes, the body then gets the due signal. And it's like, uh-oh, we're under worry now and stress and fear. What am I going to do for my day? Because now things are changed. So then we have to take the body and we have to get it to calm down. What can we do? We could take 5 minutes of breath work. We can put on a guided meditation. And the idea is to really breathe into the body because a lot of the stressors are stored in the bodies and they're stored in those first 3 centers. So just, from the pubic bone up to the, up to the low, the diaphragm, we'll say. And that's where we really want to breathe in and we want to exhale and we want to kind of move that energy out of there because energy moves up the body. And then with time, then we can just have that projection to say, okay, now we're going to create what we're going to have to do for today. So we're going to put that energy within us. We're going to set that new trajectory. And then now we're going to be able to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. So again, things might get a little stressful. We might need to shorten that refractory period. Nobody's saying it's not going to be a little bit of a whoa, like a little stressed out. But what do we need to do? So we just, we have to retrain, like the animal, the beast within that's used to
Right.
bringing that energy up and getting in that free state. So there's the formula, and it's okay to feel that way, but we need to shorten it. And then the body can go, okay, now I feel safe. Right now I can feel secure. So now we can move about our day. So now we've cultivated that, basically that internal energy system to work for that. And now we're bringing that energy within us. So I hope that
love
that
that.
kind of answers that.
It does. I love that so much. I always say that I'm an intention setter,
Beautiful.
because I think intention, that's us telling our bodies what is going to happen instead of our bodies telling us.
Right. And that is
when
the key.
we set the intention, and when you were saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is describing why I say that I am an intention setter, because it does change the way our bodies respond to what's going on.
I would love to add to that if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Because I love, to me, the intention is the thought.
Yes.
The other component is if we can add the feeling, right? Because that's a difference between the affirmation. And then if you add the feeling and then you have that emotion. So now I'm like, okay, my day has changed. Okay, but now I'm going to feel like it's going to run smoothly. I'm going to generate this flow state. So I actually have this inner dialogue with myself. Like, this is how this is going to change for me. Because now I'm thinking it and now I'm feeling it. And now I'm going, well, now I can create my personal reality.
Well,
As opposed, please.
do you put yourself there at the end result and how that's going to feel?
Right. That is the idea. And it's really like, it just depends on what the circumstances
Right.
are. But today it's more about just like, let's just generate this flow state. And
Right.
that's just staying in the energy of like, things are going to change and things may not be, in the lane that you want to be in, but how do we then create that reality? And that's that difference between what's the, your projection out there and what's creating your personal reality, or are you allowing your environment to create your personality?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you start to kind of like learn to modulate this energy. And that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, it's going to change and it's going to fluctuate, and you got to be willing to go with the flow. I mean, it really is the simplicity of that.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. So I'm very intrigued with acupuncture.
Oh, great.
And I did it for a little while, and it wasn't really that I had anything going on per se that I did it. And so the acupuncturist that I've gone to, I asked her, do I need to have something wrong to come and do this? And she was like, oh no, like the absolute best way to do it is when you don't have nothing going on. And so I would just love for you to talk real quickly a little bit about acupuncture, what you feel like it does for our bodies and why it's important.
I think the number one component for why I love acupuncture is because it allows that nervous system to reset. So it really helps the mastery of stress, because so many of us are running on, high octane, go lifestyle. So the body, even though maybe it hasn't caught up with people yet, the idea of setting that nervous system into this repair, this calm, relax, rest, digest, which is what I do with my patients. I get them into that state. And when the body's not producing cortisol and adrenaline, guess what happens? The body has time to heal. The body has time to create. The body has time to produce. The body has time to assimilate the food, to digest, to absorb, to nurture. So the beauty of acupuncture for me is I'm getting the body to be in a state of calm, relax, rest, digest. And that to me is clutch. So I foundationally treat on that level. And then if somebody's coming in, they, with pregnancy issues, or they want, they have cancer or autoimmune, then we can work on pain, then we can work on nausea, like whatever the anomaly is at that point, that's phase 2. But we always want to set. And my thing with my patients that I do differently is I use the aura ring. So I can actually, so the aura ring is OURA. And it's very specific, and I don't have an affiliate with them. That's just me sharing them because I have a couple of them on. And a lot of my patients have them, and if they don't, I'll put my ring on them. And I'm able to actually see them go into parasympathetic repair. I can see their HRV, which is their heart rate variability, go up, their heart rate goes down, their body temperature goes up, their respiration lowers. So you can actually see them in this repair. And when they get off the table, I'm like, look at this. And it's actually attached, to the phone. And then
Right.
they're actually able to see, oh, wow. And they can feel that difference. So I also do breath work, and I also do a meditation on the table with my patients. So I'm different than the acupuncturist. And again, everybody's got their own thing, but
Yeah.
like my whole thing is, how am I different? How do I create an experience? And how do I create a transformation for my patients on the table?
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you have to do that in person, or can you do virtual? You probably can't because of the points, right?
You can do, so I can do it virtual as long as we can add those modalities for tapping. I mean, I'm sure, you can do tapping, you can do acupressure, you can do it. So, I mean, I have patients that, will be, on Zoom, and we're able to do it this way. But the idea is, I haven't mastered the blowing of the needles through the phone.
Yeah. That would be a little
Right.
hard.
But the idea is that once you set the intention, that idea of the patient actually doing the points and actually working on that, whether it's tapping, whether it's applying pressure, and, depending on, which direction you're going, you're tonifying or dispersing a point, because acupressure is totally applicable, to get similar results, because then we're looking at mindset, we're looking at, doing meditation. So there are different ways that you can do it. So I am very well versed to do all of it.
Wow. That is amazing. I didn't realize that. I really thought that was a long stretch to ask if you could do it virtually. And I did not realize that you could.
Right. So
That is
we have to call it acupressure, right? We can call it, right? I mean, there has to be a difference of language, but really, I mean, it still applies. And that's the cool thing with my patients. We're, in the beginning of my sessions, we always do a mindset component, and then we add in this. So sessions are an hour and a half. We're able to do both. And that's specifically if it's an acupuncture mindfulness session versus if it's, functional medicine, or I'm your health coach and advocate.
Yes. Gotcha. Yeah. So you were talking about the aura rings. So I just heard about the aura rings just this week. And it's just
great.
so funny that you have them on and are talking about them. I'm like, oh my gosh, those are amazing.
Well, the cool thing is it's more about tracking your stress and your sleep than it is about how many steps. Not that it doesn't show you that, but this is more about how much REM did you get? How much, deep sleep did you get? Are you optimal to be able to work out today? Oh, maybe you should have a rest day. So it's very well tuned. It actually even tells you if you're going to get your menses, which is your period.
Really?
Yes, it actually dials that in. So that's the aura rings.
Amazing. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that. Dr. Tammy, I haven't even gotten started with you. Oh my goodness, I have so much more I want to ask you. So this is going to be, we're running out of time. This is going to be my question to you.
Please.
Would you be open to coming on at a later date and having another part 2
Sure.
session? Because I tell you, I'm just getting started. And
well, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely adore you. Oh my gosh.
You're so gracious. And I am so grateful and appreciative, truly. And I'd be happy to, because there's so much to be able to share. And that's the thing. People don't know. And until you know, I mean, how are we going to be able to help our community? How are we going to be able to help our moms?
100%.
I mean, and that's my love. I mean, that's what I want to create. I want to create this community for that.
I love that so much. Tell us, as we're closing out, how can people contact you? How's the best way to contact you?
Oh, great. You could go to my website, which is drtammysorensenbesher.com. And we can probably just put that in the link underneath the video. Yes. I mean, that's your best way. I mean, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find me all over. But if you go to my website, and if you have any questions, please just inquire. And I do offer a complimentary 15-minute discovery call. So that way, if people just want to call and they want to ask questions and want to have an inquiry, I mean, my whole idea for what I want to create for my community is service. And how do we help people? And how do we create this? I mean, because if we're in that state of, and that was my idea of, trying to create this body, mind, and heart component and creating this alignment, But I mean, we need to have tangible materials. So if we can share these, anything, even if it's an Aura ring or a supplement or, to help people kind of get out of the place they're in, then they're going to be more apt to be able to take a deeper dive into the mindfulness, the meditation, the mindset. But we have to alleviate some of this pain and some of this heartache. And then we can set that forth. And then, we can then have the bandwidth to be able to go in that direction.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You could not have said that better. I am such a component as well of, I have spent many years doing what I call the work, of learning. And I know this is an area that we didn't even get to today. And I would love to talk about this next time, because you talk a lot about self-esteem.
Right.
And about loving yourself and all that stuff. And it's just, that is an epidemic right now, that is, people don't know how to do that. And I made so many bad choices in my life, not loving me, not having any respect for me. I had respect for everybody else, but I had no respect for me. So, oh my gosh, I would love for you to come back on where we could dig deeper into those subjects, and you could help our community with how do you start that journey? I mean, how do you start going down that journey and choosing to put yourself first? Because we all have so much going on. And
Right.
it's so easy to get lost in being a mom and being an employee and running a business or all the stuff. So we will definitely talk and schedule the next time that we can get together. But
that'd be fantastic.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today. We appreciate you, we support you, and we celebrate everything that you're sharing with the world.
I am truly grateful and appreciative for the opportunity, Marie. Truly, on the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Dr. Tammy. I appreciate you. And to our listening audience, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back every Monday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Click the subscribe button and never miss an episode.